And welcome Lakesha Stevens to Aesthetically Speaking. Lakesha is a real estate agent and real estate investor in Missouri. Tell me, what part of Missouri are you from, Lakesha?
In St. Louis.
St. Louis, Missouri. Okay. And
Yes.
just tell me, okay, so I did a brief introduction, but I'll let you tell everything about yourself, plug your business and everything.
Sure. So, hey guys, I'm Lakesha Stevens, based out of St. Louis, Missouri. I have been a licensed realtor for 12 years now. So if you do the math, I kind of started when our country was actually in a recession.
Wow. Yes. Oh yeah, exactly. Wow.
In 2008 is when I became licensed. And then, 2 years to 3 years after that, everything kind of went in the slumps. From the economy standpoint, as well as from the real estate industry. But since then, of course, our market has rebounded and things are great right now. And I actually made the decision about 6 months ago to transition into creating the product that I sold. So
Awesome.
I noticed throughout my 12-year career in real estate that buyers had a consistency in terms of the things that they were looking for. And once I started to kind of pay attention to the commonalities there, I thought that, hey, why not just create, homes that they are actually looking for? And we all know that we run into just about everyone that loves HGTV. And so when they're looking to buy, they're watching House Hunters, and a lot of those wonderful renovation shows that they have on there. And with that being the case, they love all the bells and whistles in their homes. So they want the granite countertops and the hardwood floors and, the
open plan.
Yeah, and the 42-inch cabinets and things of that nature in their home. But what we do know is depending on the area, that can be quite expensive. And so with that being the case, I just kind of wanted to bring both worlds together in terms of affordability and luxury for them, and create a home that they would love and that they would want to, move forward with the process of purchasing their first home or their fifth home. And that's kind of what I'm doing right now. So I am actually winging myself 100% out of the representation side of things and just creating the homes that I know that buyers are looking for. And I'm doing existing single family homes right now, but I am transitioning into new construction and prefer to kind of hang my hat there.
So you are actually moving out of the sales part of it and moving more. Well, you're still going to be selling, but you're going to be creating and selling.
Correct. Yes.
Very nice. So have you been doing residential the majority of the time you've been doing real estate?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now that's very cool. What was your background before you got into real estate, and what made you decide in 2008, especially to go into that? And because I remember the industry in 2008, I was doing a little bit of residential design, but doing mostly commercial, and everything just kind of came to all of my friends lost their job. It just came to a complete halt around that time.
Yeah.
It was just crazy. So tell me about that. What made you get into it?
Sure. So actually my background is, so if we kind of go back a little bit to the beginning, I actually have been working since I was 15 years old.
Wow.
So I actually started, since high school. I actually started out at a hospital, at our local St. Louis Children's Hospital here. And just, being a teenager, just wanted a little extra cash on the side. So I started out in the food and nutrition department. But later on, after graduating high school, I actually had the hopes of going to school for nursing. Nice. So I actually did a transfer, and was a patient care assistant, which is a nurse assistant, for almost 5 years. And then I kind of got a little nervous once I found out the qualifications to become a nurse. It kind of scared me. It's a lot of math and science, and I wasn't very good in that in high school. So it kind of, made me a little nervous. And so just as off air, you and I were talking about, our beliefs and things of that nature. So I did become, a practicing Christian, and I knew that I had a purpose. I just wasn't for sure what it was. And so I just kind of said a little prayer and just asked God to lead me, in terms of where you wanted me to be. I knew that I love to help people. I had been in the healthcare industry for a total at that time of 10 years. But I was a bit burned out physically from the patient care. And so I just felt like, he led me to consider real estate. Granted, real estate had been brought up to me before I graduated high school, but I learned that, hey, it's sales only, and I was used to getting a paycheck every 2 weeks. And so I was like, no, I'm not doing real estate, because you mean to tell me I don't get paid unless I sell a house? So if I don't sell a house for a month or 3 months, I don't get any money? I was like, no, thank you. I'll consider something else. You know, and so I denied it for a couple of years, but it was just, I wasn't feeling fulfilled in all the other corporate jobs that I was kind of working through and all of that. So I kind of went back to what I felt that I heard concerning real estate, gave it a try. And when I was working at Children's, my boss, everything worked out perfectly. She allowed me to leave early to be able to take the course. And I took the course, passed the exam, and decided to go into real estate at that time.
And that's a great accomplishment. I know people that passed the course and the exam, that's where it came to a complete halt, because the exam is hard.
Yes.
It's not easy. So that's a great accomplishment.
It is, and it's interesting because I've heard people from different backgrounds, including nursing, that mentioned that they could not pass that exam. And I'm like, wait,
oh yeah, and I'm talking about people with degrees, you know, not just one, like, you know, and so it's not something that you can just jump into. you really have to have a good mind for it and want to do it. So that's an awesome feat.
And I couldn't believe it. I'm like, you passed a nursing exam, but you couldn't pass the real estate exam? It blew my mind. I was like, it was unbelievable. So I felt very accomplished.
and actually, real estate, just as an aside, real estate is something that I love, and I aspire to do it one of these years. I keep saying I'm going to do it, and I click on the ads that pop up, but I haven't. I know that exam is hard. So, you know, you can get through the class in 3 weeks here, but the exam is probably no joke.
Yes. But I think where you go to school plays rolling, you passing the exam, because it really isn't hard, but you just have to know how they want you to answer the question. No real world thinking. You can't overthink it. However that instructor taught you how to answer that question is exactly how you have to answer it on the question. And that was the key. And so my school, I went to Caldwell Banker Gundaker. They have their own real estate school.
Yeah, I've actually talked with Caldwell Banker about their class. They're very interesting.
They are awesome. And I mean, they teach you only how to pass the test. They
have great training as well, correct?
Mm-hmm. They do. But I will say the company I work for, Keller Williams, actually has the best.
Keller Williams, I'll tell you, and I'm telling you, I dabble so much. I need to just go ahead and take the class. Yes. Caldwell Banker, I've actually interviewed with and talked tremendously about taking the exam and taking the classes and working there. But but right now, the hot spot in Philadelphia, the hot people are Keller Williams. They're everywhere. And I hate throwing brands out there, but it's the reality. Every time I meet a new agent, they're Keller Williams.
Keller Williams, and of course, just like any other industry or any other company, it's not for everyone, but they have proven methods that whatever you say you want to make, they have the model for you to follow to be able to meet your goal. Not only that, you don't feel like a number. Like my office has over 400 agents in it, and I don't feel like a number. I am at any time able to contact and reach an actual person. If I need additional training, want additional training or coaching, they have someone immediately available for me.
And see, that's very important for people to know when they're looking for an agent to buy or sell their house, that you go with one that's with a group that's like that, you know, that's always going to be able to help their agents out.
Absolutely. So it's a phenomenal company. I mean, their values, they are very, you know, they kind of have a passion to make sure that you have a work balanced life. They're big on spirituality as well, and they treat you like family. You know, and I've never, not to say, because I've worked for Caldwell Banker and a lot of the other top companies that were #1 at the time over the years, and they were great. But Keller Williams, it was just something different. It was genuine, and I found nothing wrong with them.
There must be something right with them right now, because like I said, they're hot. I mean, they really are hot. And are you right now in one of your projects? You're in one of your products. Let's call it your product.
Yes.
So will this be
So,
this will be listed under Keller Williams?
it will be, actually. Well, it can be, I'll say that, but
It can be.
I'll say this, it can be. But I actually already have the buyer for it, so I don't have to list
Oh, so you don't have to worry about that. Okay, gotcha.
yes, so I don't have to list it, because about 97% of my business has been buyers versus sellers as clients. So I literally have about seven people in my pipeline that's already approved. I always get a lot of referrals for buyers. So finding buyers for me, I already have them.
That's amazing. That's in your industry. That's awesome. So now tell me a little bit about your project. We've talked about this before, about your experience with renovating, what you're currently working on. How long have you been renovating, and how was that experience?
Oh, we are in the 6th month of me
That's
renovating.
not bad. That's actually not bad.
Well, it kind of is, because it was only supposed to take a month and a half.
Oh, wow. Ooh.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that I met you did we meet about 6 months ago?
Yes.
And so, so that is long.
It's probably been about 7 months with you. I think I had known you for at least about a month or so when prior to the project, but yes. But typically, on average, it only was supposed to take about a month and a half at the most, but due to COVID, it's just
COVID.
We're
now,
6 months in.
Did COVID slow your town down? Did they halt construction at all?
They didn't halt construction, but when we did the shutdown for about 2 weeks here, contractors could not be out unless it was for an emergency. So there were certain types of contractors that were allowed to work, like plumbers, electricians, but for like emergency cases only. So that was one of the delays. And then 2, there was just from a manufacturing perspective, the supplies just was not available.
I'm seeing that a couple of designers I know have said the same exact thing, that there is a supply chain people and you can't get materials. It does. And the problem is, and I'm glad you said that, sometimes people on the other end don't understand that if your contractor's working on something and one thing is not there, it slows down the whole process, because they can't do one thing and then that means the other thing can't get done. Because sometimes contractors will do everything they can around what needs to get done, but if one thing is stopping the whole job, they can't go any further.
Correct.
So that's a huge deal. The supply chain is and because of COVID, a lot of the supplies are slowed down because of COVID. You wouldn't expect the supply chain I would expect it for food, but you wouldn't expect it for construction, but it's just happening everywhere.
Well, yeah, because if you think about it, like the chain of command, when you're dealing with economics, this virus came out of nowhere. And so when it was, publicized of how dangerous it was, and, the government wanting us to kind of be safe from a health standard position, in the midst of that, we have been shut down. We were shut down really for about 2 months. So for businesses, if people, if their business is being shut down for 2 months, they have to start laying off people.
Yeah.
Or at least furloughing. And so if people are not spending money like they used to because they had to stay in, people were furloughed, they were laid off, then they have to lay people off because people aren't purchasing as much, which kind of trickles down to the employees that they have to manufacture the materials.
Yes.
And so at that time, manufacturers were working off of about 50% of their actual, employee count to manufacture the products. And so if they're working with less amount of people, they're producing less quantity of materials, which of course kind of trickles down to the stores having less inventory for us to purchase.
And so then it was like a grab on it when you need it, finally, when it's there, and then it's not there, because some things I still can't find.
Yeah. And it's just they couldn't process, they couldn't manufacture for about 2 months, and then when they started back up, they weren't producing a high quantity of of materials. And so it's kind of like, by the time you make it to the store, if you wasn't there when it first opened, or when it first hit online to purchase it, it was gone before you got to it. So
that's an unfortunate reality right now we're all in when it comes to, I mean, I've seen renovations move along here. When they opened, they shut construction down, which meant
Wow.
that, yeah, and that it was unfortunate. I didn't think it was necessary, but I'm not the mayor, so I can't judge.
Yeah.
But they shut construction down, and then they shut our where we get permits down. So that made it difficult for the, I
Yeah.
mean, we're submitting electronically, and even to this day, we can't just freely go in and try to take care of issues with permits. And then
Right.
here we have this major communication gap with what's going on with our permits. So there's
Yeah.
literally a backlog, and people can't get their residential projects taken care of because there's, we can't get through that backlog, and
Yeah. Yeah.
it's unfortunate. It
It's
really
very,
is unfortunate. Now,
it is.
has that affected do you have that issue with your bureaucracy when it comes to that kind of work with your renovation?
So thankfully, the contractors that I was working with were able to pull permits. It took longer, but they were able to pull them via online because they're still not allowing physical contact for them to come down to the office right now.
Yeah, that's
so
how
they had to do it over the phone and online, and just, once it populated online, they were able to grab it then and proceed. But yeah, they're still being pretty cautious.
It's a good thing they can talk on the telephone. We can't even get on the telephone with our guys. They won't talk to us. I can't even email. There's some of them they won't even give me their email address. I mean, it's just that crazy. I don't understand it. I was just trying to figure out one of their email addresses just today, and you can't figure it out. We have this electronic system set up, and they'll send an inquiry to you, and then if you don't really get their communication or you want to discuss it with them, there's no way to communicate back to them unless it's crazy the way we have it set up. Now with your renovation, what do you think, what would you consider how much renovation you actually did with your project? Like what percentage of?
Sure. So I'll break it kind of down for you in each stage. So I actually purchased it for $51,200. My budget for it was $45,000. And this was a home that was actually new construction that was never finished. The previous owner is a retired builder, so he actually works with a lot of the major top builders here in St. Louis, but he's like 83 years old. Okay. And so, he, in a nutshell, a lot of the major parts of the home was already completed. The plumbing, the electrical, most of the electrical and things of that nature. I literally just had to come in, put in a kitchen, new bathroom, floorings, the aesthetic type of things, and things of that nature. So my budget was around $45,000 for it. We're at about $52,000 to complete it. But the reason being is we went over budget, and it kind of goes back to our previous conversation about the materials. So initially, when I did the budget for this house, I had specific cabinets and granite countertops that I wanted indoors, but the limited of supply changed that. And so the cabinets that I wanted were not in stock. And so I had to go with, of course, which was convenient for the manufacturer, I had to go with more expensive cabinets, more expensive countertops, because I had to choose from what was available, outside of not having to wait 4 months for it, to receive it. So I wanted to choose from something that I can get within the month. So that kind of sent me about $7,000 over, over my budget because of that reason.
Well, that's actually not bad when you think about it. We usually do a 20% contingency with when we do budgets for a project. So was that was that $45,000 including your contingency, or was that?
It was not. It was not including the contingency.
So that's good. You're actually within your contingency.
I am.
That's actually
so I'm
pretty
okay
good.
With that. So I was okay for that because they kind of budget, for about 15%. For the contingency. So I'm still okay, and we're actually going to be on schedule to sell it for about $160,000, $165,000.
That's amazing, because
Yeah.
Here, number one, the price that you got it at is amazing. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
50.
51.
Don't let too many investors from this area know they'll be trying to buy up St. Louis. Stuff here is like 2 and 3 times that amount just for the shell.
Really?
Yeah,
Wow.
and then I've seen projects that I've worked on with I'm working on one right now. It's a total gut. It's $170,000 renovation, and it's an old house, over 100 years old.
Oh, okay. Well, that's I would say that's accurate though.
Well, yeah, I mean here the budgets usually are about 100,000 when you're doing a total.
No matter
renovation.
what.
Yeah, all of them I've worked on in the last maybe I would say 5 years. Anytime there are total, like when you're doing all new bathrooms, new kitchens, and you're totally renovating the whole house, it's usually about $100,000 at least.
Wow.
Easy.
Okay.
Easy. So and I tell people that going in, like when people they call me out and I look at the property, and if it's in good structural shape, but all they're doing is adding bathrooms and adding a kitchen, I can count that up pretty fast. I can go 10, 20,
right.
And then, overall repairs, electrical. It's pretty easy, and it's easily they usually come out to $100,000. That's just not even out. So I mean, a lot of people don't think that.
Yeah.
They look at me like, what? Somebody wanted to build a house here for $45,000.
Oh no.
And I was like, where did you get that?
You probably paid more than that for the lot.
Well, they had the lot. They already had the lot, but they wanted to build. And I'm doing new construction right now that's $200,000, and I thought that was low.
Yeah.
And so our here, because we're on the East Coast, land budgets are totally different. I mean, it's crazy some of the things I see. Now, now in your field, because it's easy to talk to you about this kind of stuff because you know prices. If I wanted a single family home in Missouri, roughly about I'd say about 1,800. No, let's go with 1,200 to 1,500 square feet. What would the price be?
On average, I would say anywhere from, depending on area, but on average for the area, I would say about 140.
That's amazing. And that's turnkey, or is that
That's turnkey. That's with everything renovated.
Really? Okay. In the city of Philadelphia, you can get a we call them shells for that amount.
Yeah.
You can get a shell for that amount.
Wow. Yeah, the cost of living here is a lot more affordable than the
East Coast. Is amazing. we need to go. People need to start doing investing over there.
Yeah, but here's the thing: the market right now is at the highest that it could be.
Yeah, because real estate agents are going nuts during this pandemic. They're selling like crazy.
They are, but it's wonderful for sellers, but it's horrible for buyers because we're
that's
low
true.
inventory. And so we have more buyers in the market than there are homes available for sale.
Yeah,
so the buyer, it's frustrating on their end because they're having to build on average bid $10,000 to $15,000 over the asking price to win the bid. And they're up against 7 to 15.
At $140,000, that's still dirt cheap. Oh my God.
Yeah, but when you know it's only worth the 140, you don't want to go up to 160, or 155.
I'm telling you, people in this area would kill to spend in the city. To live in the city.
Yeah.
You talk St. Louis, Philadelphia. I don't know. I've never been to I've been to St. Louis once, but I only stopped there and then kept going. But just considering the fact that it's a big city, that's a cheap price for a house.
Well, you can get a very, very nice house for about 140 in the city, depending on the area now, at about for 1,200 square feet. Absolutely.
Okay. So let's look at, when you kept saying, depending on the area, are we talking about a middle class area, or what's is that a safer, kind of a safe area?
It's more dealing with, the middle class area. Overall, the average sale price for St. Louis is about $223. But
pretty
for
good.
a 1,200 square foot home, it's a lot lower because it's a smaller home. On average, buyers that have families, they're looking anywhere from about 14 to 1,700 square feet.
Okay. See, a
So
lot
when
of
you're
what I
dealing with
work on are about
1,200, when you're dealing with 1,200, you're dealing with someone that probably doesn't have a family yet. That's a single
they're like the
professional.
millennials that are just
Mm-hmm.
buying.
With
But they're
maybe one
spending
kid.
like 3 and 4. They're spending. I mean, I'm telling you, here, these houses are like 300 and 400,000 in the city, and they're close to Center City, which is our downtown.
Yeah.
And the bigger, now we do have areas with bigger houses, and
Yes.
so the family type houses with it looks more like suburbia, and
Yes.
so it's going to be a different dynamic. But a lot of what I
Mm-hmm.
deal with are a lot of the properties that I work on are properties that are either like directly surrounding Center City or in close
Okay.
connection. So they're always those properties that are the high rent properties once they renovate them, because that's where the investors are going. It's funny.
Absolutely. Which is totally understandable, because here in the city, this property that I'm working on now is in the city. So it's right between a very popular area, which is called the Central West End.
Mm-hmm.
And so we're right outside of the Central West End, in which they're building. So within the last 5 years, they have actually built about 10 brand new 200 plus unit luxury apartment buildings.
Oh, that's a nice area then.
2 outside of that were for sale, like individual units for sale. They just rebuilt SLU Hospital, which is about 5 minutes away.
Mm-hmm.
We're about 7 minutes away from Washington University, which is one of the top medical universities in the US. And so we're smack in the middle, and there's tons of new construction homes that are being built right now, and that have sold, and they're well over between $300,000 or $500,000.
Okay.
So
that's kind of like here.
Yeah, they've been redeveloping the city, because we do have the NGA headquarters that is about 7 minutes away from this property.
Now what's NGA?
NGA is actually a government entity. The Department of Defense, through the government, they are moving from where they are now to St. Louis, Missouri.
Okay, so St. Louis is going to be a hot spot to live in pretty soon.
Yeah.
And so if you're looking for residential for a residential property, number one, it sounds like if you're looking for a residential property to renovate and sell, it's a good spot to be in.
Absolutely. And I actually am in the process right now of negotiating. There's tons of lots over here, vacant lots. I know who the owner is, and I'm actually wanting to continue to build in this area, because it's important for people to know that and get in now, because the values of the homes are going to go skyrocketed through the roof in the next 24 months because of what they're doing. And
then you'll be where we are right now. And what happened here was we had a lot of out of city and out of state investors.
Mm-hmm.
New York. I've actually done work for people from California that never even showed up here, but actually invested in property and so we had a lot of that here where people were coming, and so it drove the market up. I'm sure our market was nowhere near what it's nowhere near what it probably really is. But because we had that dynamic then we're getting a lot of transplants from New York. So, that's driving us up. But it's awesome in some ways, but then it's, when you want to make sure you get a good product for what you're paying, I don't know how awesome that is.
Yes, this is true.
When you think, because you want, number one, I'm when it comes to renovations, just like you said, you want to have a quality renovation. You want to put nice cabinets in. You mentioned, the funny thing is you mentioned something that I haven't heard in years.
What?
The 42-inch cabinet.
That is a thing here still. We haven't graduated from that.
I used to do a lot of designs for interiors, so I would do kitchen and bath, and 42-inch cabinets about 20, maybe 25 years ago. No, not 25, but probably late 90s. Yeah. It was the hottest thing out there. Late 90s, early 2000s. Really? Everybody wanted, the whole thing was they wanted to go all the way up to the ceiling. So you
Yeah.
do 42-inch cabinets with a small crown, or if your ceiling was
Yes.
higher, you
Yes.
you create a fake soffit and do a 6-inch crown on top of it.
Yes.
And that but it was so expensive. I've done kitchens $60,000. We're talking early 2000s,
I can believe
and
it.
it was insane. And then people started going back to the shorter cabinets all of a
Yeah.
sudden. But when you said 42-inch cabinets, I was like, people are doing 42-inch cabinets again. That's interesting.
That's a newer thing. I mean, it's been in our market for maybe max 15 years. We're the Midwest, so we are behind East and West Coast significantly, timeline wise. So that is still a thing here. People love 42 because a lot of the homes still have standard less than 42-inch cabinets in it. And so to create, of course, as you know, additional cabinet space, because people nowadays are buying more stuff, they need more storage. And so the 42-inch, you know, provide that for them.
That is interesting. I remember even talking with people because 42-inch cabinets, we both know, are significantly more expensive than 30-inch. I would talk them into getting the look of the 42. One of the things we used to design with, we created this, well, we didn't create it, I'm sure it existed already. I remember my boss wanted to create this look of the feel of a 42-inch cabinet, but going with 36 inches, which is in the middle, 30, 36, 42. And that's where we came up. We would have a crown, 6-inch crown. Then we would do a little bit of a soffit. Then they would run a border around the soffit, and then another soffit, and then the cabinet.
Which that would make sense.
And but it would make it look like it was. It would give an illusion of it, almost making it look like it was creating the cabinet. Like part of it was the top part of the cabinet, but it really wasn't.
It wasn't aesthetically. But buyers are getting wiser nowadays. And
coming in with their measuring tape.
They come with their measuring tape because they're like, okay, it looks like, and they ask the question. So as realtors, of course, we have to disclose the truth, you know, and they come with their measuring tapes. Like, well, that's not quite 42 inches. And, you know, we have a lot of stuff that we don't want to get rid of.
You know what I saw that's interesting? I actually posted this recently. It was a new design in residential of the double island. Have you seen that there?
No.
It's the coolest thing. I mean, I used to do a lot of luxury houses. So of course you have to have it's going to be in a bigger house, but it was a double island. And I thought it was really interesting because one was more like a working island and the other one was more like an island you can just sit around. So that might be something when you do one of your houses that's a nice single family large house. That might be something you might want to look at.
I will. I love newer things. I don't like to do what is necessarily only what's trending right now. I like to introduce the market to what's coming.
I agree. And, I'm sorry, you froze for a second. Yeah, I'm sorry about that. But I completely agree with you. I love the new, fresh ideas that make sense too. I don't like doing stuff just because it's trendy and new. But I do like. Somebody told me they were like, why do you want to have a double island in a kitchen? But just think about it. If you have a big house and you have a family.
Absolutely.
You can have your family sitting in the kitchen with you at the table or at this, because the kitchen table's gone. We all know that. So it's almost like you create a permanent kitchen table or another work area if you want to, and your kids can be doing their homework there. They can be on a tablet or whatever. And then you're working on the other island, but it was so cool.
Absolutely. It creates more of a convenience, but let's face it, most of us entertain. Holidays are a big thing. You know, and you want to make sure you have ample amount of space to hold the crowd that you are, you know, servicing or spending time with at that time. So for a larger home, and that's the key word, I think it will be awesome.
And it would actually also work in because I'm always in these row houses here. It would work in a wider, bigger row house. I did a design. Actually, it wasn't my design, but the client came up with it. She did an island. She did an open plan in a row house. She knocked out all the walls, And she did
Okay.
an island that ran from the kitchen all the way through the dining room. And it was very interesting. It was a long island, like longer than the room. It was really,
Wow.
I kept telling it was not my client, it was a contractor's client, so I didn't get a chance to get the final
Yeah.
pictures of it, but I do have the design of it. But it was
Wow.
pretty cool. It was really cool that they did that. Actually, I need to reach out to that contractor and get those pictures.
Yeah, that'd be nice to see that. See how
But
it turned out.
now when it comes to your residential design projects, some of the things that clients are always, especially when they're trying to buy something new or they're looking for value. Let's tell some people some things, especially from, you're the perfect person to talk about this. What's going to bring money? What do you look for, especially as somebody is selling the product now? What do you focus on for renovations to bring money into the house? Is it still the kitchen?
Absolutely. Kitchen is definitely a money maker. Finished basement. If you're in a place where you do have basements, people are outgrowing the main and upper level of their home, and they want an extra space to enjoy, whether they want to make it a theater or playroom for their children or even for their teenager. A lot of times, if you stay in a home, 10 to 15 years or even more, your children are going to grow. And so if you have, the best of both worlds, a boy and a girl or a couple in between, typically boys would prefer to be in the basement away from everything and everyone.
That is
and
so
basement, they kind of start wanting their own privacy and have more space to do things. They like trinkets and toys and all of that, and they need the space to do that. Not to mention when their friends come over, you don't want to be next door to a room full of teenagers. If they're not outside, you would definitely want to put them as far away as possible from you so you won't see them or hear them. And
that
so
is so true.
Are huge. Yeah, so basements are huge money makers as well. In addition to that, of course, bathrooms are a big deal. From a new construction standpoint, you want to make sure you have ample amount of closet space. I cannot stress enough that if there is a woman involved in the process of purchasing or building a home, closet space, storage is huge.
You just made me think of a client that I'm working with right now. She is insisting on, oh my God, we put this humongous closet in her basement. And to talk about renovating the basement, we finished her basement, right? And this is a row house, mind you. This is a twin. It's not a row house, it's a twin. I'm sorry. But it's in this kind of a neighborhood where row houses are. Yeah. And we finished her basement. And we put this the walk-in closet in the basement is as big as a room. It's like an 8 by 8. It's huge. It's not the typical 5 by 5. It's so big you can put a bed in there if you wanted to.
Yeah.
And she was like, closet space is very important to me. She made that very clear. She was like, we want closets everywhere. And so every floor we put closets, and this is a small house, and it's only she doesn't have kids, so it's just like, what are you doing with all these closets? She's like, I love storage. I have to have storage.
Yes.
So when you said that, it made me laugh.
Yes, that's a big deal for people because they're buying more stuff, more clothes, more shoes, more toys. I mean, they need ample amount of closet space. It's a huge deal. Another thing is open floor plans. Sell faster than those. We call them here boxy homes. You don't want your floor plan chopped up and boxy, where you have the walls separating each room. No, that's an old fashioned thing from a long time ago. That is and so floor plans. But if you're speaking specifically of what you can do to kind of bring more income or more profit to your home, kitchens, bathrooms, closet space, and finished basements are a plus.
Kitchens, bathrooms, closets, and now when you say bathrooms, are you talking about making sure there's a powder room that's easy for somebody to get to when they're entertaining?
Not necessarily updated. If you're dealing with an existing single family home or something like that, you want to make sure it's updated. If the space allows for a double vanity sink, that is a big deal. And it's okay to even separate, if it's a master bathroom, to have the master have a separate stand-in shower, and then maybe the hall bathroom could have your tub. But if you kind of would like to do, you know, if the space allows a separate shower and then the jacuzzi tub. People love soaking jacuzzi tubs. So of course, homes that have those amenities sell for a lot more, because
now let me tell you, I have not done a jacuzzi tub in 20 years.
Really?
Since I was working on luxury houses, and of course, I guess you wouldn't consider the houses here, for somebody like me, I would consider them luxury, because spending $400,000 and $500,000 on a house to me is a luxury. But back when I was working for Toll Brothers and we did luxury houses, everyone had a soaking tub. But I have not done that. And actually, I was doing a house and I had to convince the guy to put a tub in the house. He had 4.5 bathrooms, and he did not want to put a tub in there.
I can believe it. But you said the key word, he. That's a big deal for men. Men don't take, take baths.
He was a
but
flipper.
Women, we like soaking tubs.
I agree. And the candles and all of that. But he was also, and it's hard with, when I talk to investors, and I'm glad you're somebody this is where it's good to have a real estate agent that's also an investor, because they need to understand these kind of things. Women like tubs. If you have children and you buy that house, yes, you're an investor and you're a guy and you're worried about walls for your flat screen TV, because that's all I ever hear. We need a wall where we can put the TV on. I'm like, you're not going to be living here. You're selling this. You need to have at least one tub for that family if they buy that house and they want to bathe that child.
They have to.
Or like you said, soak. That is so important. And that's one of the things that I'm glad from a real estate standpoint and a selling standpoint, so many people get into this to flip and to renovate and sell, but they're taking their personal feelings and putting them in there.
Right.
When you're a real estate agent and you're doing this, you're thinking about the buyer.
You have to, but even as an investor and flipping, because that's kind of what I'm doing as well. It's an investment. I'm not holding these homes that I'm creating for the buyers, but you have to just connect. Now, if you have wonderful taste, incorporate that in your brand and in the homes that you offer the community, but you have to understand the psychological process of the people that are going to purchase your homes.
I completely agree. And people don't. I think that's where I'm trying to help people understand the importance of. Yes, you want to sell this real fast. Yes, you may not want to put a tub in here, but you have to think about the person that buys this from you. What if your reputation starts getting around and they're just selling something cheap? Then you don't want it. You're not really doing anything for your brand. Like you said, brand. This is a brand you're creating. Right. And I love that.
But then not only that, it comes back to understanding your market, who you're selling to, because I don't want to box myself into selling to specifically the single working middle class professional. I want that single working class professional and also that family that has children to consider my homes. I want to appeal to both.
Market a little bit more.
And you can open up both, and that's how you could separate, because you're going to have guests over. What if mom comes over? Mom don't want to stand in a shower and take a bath if she's 80 years old. She may want to take a bath.
Exactly. I'm so glad you said that. That is so important.
Yeah. So you don't want to have a house with all these.
You got a house with all these bathrooms and not one bathtub. I had to convince another thing. This is a man thing, and I hate to sound sexist, but
they want to put this. True.
They wanted the one guy. I was like, you can't do that. I said, where are you putting the washer and dryer? Oh, I could go in the basement. And I'm like, no, you see what now? In my span as a designer, I have watched the washer and dryer go from the basement. Yeah. Then we were designing it on the first floor.
Yes.
Now it's on the second floor with the bedrooms.
Yes.
That is ideal.
Yes.
Because who wants to lug laundry all the way downstairs and then you have to lug it all the way back upstairs?
No.
So and I try to explain, especially here, we have these if you're buying a lot of these houses in Philly, they're these danky houses with the basements, the house itself may not be in the best shape, but the basements are really dark and they're cold. And some women, even me, and I go in all kind of spaces, don't want to go in basements like that. So you're going to just throw a washer and dryer down in the basement and you're not going to finish it. No, you can't do that. And you're going to sell it to somebody.
Yes.
Make a nice little, what'd you say? What was that again?
That's common here though.
Oh, really?
It is.
I try to convince them. I say, let me do a design for you. And I'll throw, even if you as an investor, the really nice washer and dryers that are on this pedestal that are stackable, you can make a nice little area on the second floor of a townhome that will fit that if you don't want to do the side by side. Just don't put it in the basement.
Yes. Agree, because I mean, how much time do you really spend, even if it's finished, in your basement?
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So the first floor, I would, if I stuck with the laundry on the main level, it would be in a 1.5 story only. But just as you said, if it's a 2-story, all bedrooms upstairs, the second floor laundry is ideal.
And if you want to have bigger bedrooms, and I do understand, I did a house, again, most of our houses here are row houses. I did one that was, it was a bigger row house on the end, and it had a really large kitchen. So we knocked out a wall, open plan, and behind the kitchen, they did a really nice, it was so nice the way they did it. Actually, I have pictures of that online. They did a laundry room, and it was half of the laundry room, which this is one thing I hate normally, but it was done nicely. Half of it, they did a real big bathroom with a shower, and then half of that was a laundry room. Wow. Which was nicely done. But personally, I don't like the idea of putting a laundry room in a bathroom. And I just argued with somebody about that. I'm like, don't put the laundry room in a bathroom. Just don't do it.
Please don't.
There's so many reasons why I just don't do it.
Yeah, it's a huge no-no here.
Yeah, but again, men. But this one worked. This one was pretty nice because it was a bathroom that was like you're not going to use it all the time. It was kind of like the first floor bathroom that you have an additional shower in just because you want to have another bathroom. So I like the idea of them doing that there, and the way they did it was really nice. So sometimes it works.
But here's the thing: for that moment, now if they never plan to resell it, fine. But if you ever plan to resell it, that's a big no-no with buyers. They don't want to see a laundry room inside of a bathroom.
And you can easily turn that laundry room around and make it stick out. And there was one guy, I did it for him. I said, you don't have to put that washer and dryer in the bathroom. Let me just show you how you do it. You just turn it around. Yeah. It's still taking up that same space in the bathroom, but it's facing the hallway. And just put some folding doors on it, and it's boom.
Yes.
But you're right. Don't put a laundry room in the bathroom.
And the name of the company is perfect because aesthetically, we have to understand the way buyers think. If it doesn't look good, if it's not pretty, they don't like it.
I'm so glad to talk to somebody from a buyer's perspective about renovations on houses, because there's some things that I see and I just go, no, nobody's going to want that. They're not going to want it.
No, they're not.
The bathroom and the kitchen. First of all, I think that's a code issue. I can't remember off the top of my head, but there was somebody that tried to stick a bathroom.
But isn't it something? They need you never said that you have this issue with women investors. It's man investors. You can walk in a home and tell if a woman has had a touch to them renovating that home because they've dotted every I and they've crossed every T.
I completely agree. But most of my clients that I deal with that are investors are men. Yeah. There's not a lot of women. Every once in a blue moon, I did just talk to a woman. But most of them are men. I mean, it's the funniest thing when I talk to them. I go, no, you can't do that. Don't do that.
Which is fine, but they need women on their team. I've seen built brand new buildings, condos, apartments. How do you forget to put a closet? A woman would walk through and say, hey guys, you forgot the closet, or the door should open this way versus the opposite way. We care about the details. Yes. Men are not wired to really hit all of the details. It drives them
Agreed.
crazy, but that's the way we were made. And they
you know, I have to tell them about the closet on the first floor all the time.
Yeah.
They do these open plans. I need a powder room and a kitchen. And I go, what about it? Don't you need at least a small closet? You know, we live in a colder climate for 6 months out of the year. People are going to come in with jackets, umbrellas. Don't you want to have a space where people can put their coats? Oh, you're right. And it's simple. It's going to take up 3 more feet. You won't even notice it.
Yes.
But I have to tell them that all the time.
Yes.
Let's put a closet in here. Let's just stick one in here. Let's just go ahead and do that.
Yes, it's needed. You don't want people draping it over your couch, right? You know,
exactly. You don't want to taking them up, and here everything's stacked. You're going up, so it's, you know, in some houses you can take it and put the coats on a bedroom bed. Here you got to take them all the way upstairs and stick them on a bed. So I mean, put a closet. It's the simplest thing to put a closet. I remember growing up. I grew up in a row house.
Yeah.
We had to create a closet out of the because we had a basement door. We had a door that went down to the basement, but it was a landing on the top. So we made a closet on that landing because we didn't have a closet on our first floor. And so I always think about when these people are doing these open plans and they're blowing out walls, I'm like, just put a 2 foot deep, 3 foot wide closet and solve the problem.
Yeah. But if you watch the channels like HGTV and those flipper people, they always have a woman.
That's true. Every time you say HGTV, I go, ooh.
They always, if you notice, if you pay attention to the details.
I do watch HGTV. My favorite show on that channel has 2 twins on it. But
yes, love them.
You know, I love them. I absolutely love them. They don't because they have a woman
because they have mastered what buyers are looking for.
But what is one of them?
One of them is a realtor.
A realtor. There you go. And to me, that is so important. When you are doing it, if you don't understand what buyers are looking for, and you're just flipping houses to try to, you know, make a bunch of money, you know, then you don't understand what you're going to be making even more money if you give people what they want. Because when people go walking around that house and they don't see what they need, there's some key points you named there. Yes. Key point, you know, and know your area, number one, and know what's selling in your area. In your area, 42-inch cabinets are selling. Here, they're not. You know what the big deal is here? The island. They would figure out how to get an island in there. I just want one. And I always tell people it's a row house. It's very hard to get an island in a row house.
Yes.
13 feet wide, 14 feet wide, 3 feet on each side of the cabinets, and then you got 2-foot cabinets on each side.
Yeah.
You're not going to get an island.
Real tight.
It's going to be very tight.
But I will tell you, if I go about 20 minutes away from here, I would never put 42-inch cabinets in that particular area because I won't get the value.
And you know what? Maybe that's like you said, it's a certain level of who's buying. Now, with that crowd that's buying, that's looking for those 42-inch cabinets, are they older mothers? I don't want to say older, but are they?
No, they're not.
Really?
They are professionals. They're in their, I would say, late 20s, early 30s.
For 42-inch cabinets.
They do their research. When they watch the shows and they will say, okay, these are the type of cabinets and stuff like that. They Google, they go on Zillow, and they read articles. They're a lot more educated and up to breast with what the latest trends are.
I used to get people say, I didn't even know there were cabinets that were 40. I mean, people would say that to me.
Yeah, because if I'm dealing with an older buyer, they've purchased several homes right now. So their questions or where they would focus their attention on is the quality of the cabinet.
That's true.
They could tell if those are cheap standard shelf Home Depot cabinets or if those are custom cabinets.
That is and they'll say, that drawer is not dovetailed.
Yes.
When really, actually they've mastered a drawer that doesn't have to be dovetailed. It's still really good, solid. Yes. But people still, those older customers are still looking for that dovetail drawer.
Yeah. And so that's the total, like the comparison between the two age groups is that they're not caring about if it's custom or not. They want space, so they are looking at inches and height and length and things of that nature. So. They just want to be able to fit all their stuff in there.
That is so funny. But I am so glad I had the chance to talk to you. We have been sitting here laughing and joking, and this is hilarious. Some of the things that you're telling me, I'm learning. I'm learning a lot. But I'm going to thank you so much for just giving. Show. Do you want to show us anything that you have in your space?
I can actually show you. 1 second. Let's see it. Turn the camera around so you can see it, maybe. You know how you look at it? All right, so let me turn on some lights so you can see a little bit more. So here is the front door. So it's like a shotgun floor plan. It's a very open floor plan. So that's the front door here. This is the coat closet here.
The closet, there you go. See, closet.
Yeah. Staircase here.
Excuse me.
But this is where I was sitting. Nice. This is the living and the dining room combo. And we still have a little bit to do in here. So this is the kitchen sink. It'll have a, a faucet and things of that nature. Mm-hmm. Granite countertops, 42-inch cabinets. The backsplash here. Now it will have a hood over the stove here.
Okay.
And this is where the refrigerator, of course, is going to go.
Mm-hmm. You kind of blinked out. Okay, you're
blinked
back.
out. Okay, it's my battery, but I'll go through really quickly. This is the main floor laundry, door to the two-car garage. This is the pantry closet here for the food pantry.
Oh, I like the fact that the dishwasher's right on the island. I like that.
And this here is the half bath. It's not quite finished, but we just need to do some touch-up painting, put the vanity mirror there. This is just to the basement. The basement is unfinished.
Okay.
And then we can head
I love the flooring.
Oh, thank you. These are laminate flooring.
I love them. I love that look.
Hardwood floor. Thank you. We're going to go up the stairs really quick. Cut on the lights. And we just need to put on the doors, but this is the first bedroom here.
Okay. Oh, big windows. That one to the left is really big.
Yes.
Right there. Oh, yeah.
And then here is the second. We do have the linen closet here in the hallway, which is very, very deep.
Very important.
Yes.
Very important.
Very deep. First full bathroom here. Where's my light switch? And we just need to put the mirror in up here and a light bulb. But it does. This is the hall bath. Here is the bathroom, the bathtub.
Bathtub, very important.
Yes. Here is the second bedroom, and as you can see, the hall bath vanity mirrors on the floor. But and here is the closet. And then
nice size closets in the bedroom. I like that.
Yeah, so this is the master. So this has 3 closets. I'm waiting for the door on here, but it goes to the ceiling. So it's a smaller closet.
So
but
you can put sheets and towels in the first one.
Yeah.
Very
and here's the second, I think my light bulb closet, and then here's the third closet.
Wow, here. I like it. I like it a lot.
And then this is the master bedroom. And we put it does have a full bathroom. We put a barn door on there.
Nice.
And this is the master bathroom. Stand-in shower.
Very nice. I like that. I like that a lot. See, that is what you want. And this is the ideal situation for, and you said this was new construction when you bought it.
Uh-huh. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, and this kind of design can be in existing construction when you're gutting and redoing. It just takes imagination, creativity. Yes. I mean, that's what it requires, and understanding what people are looking for. The linen closet, the good size closets in the bedroom,
yes.
the laundry room on the first floor or the second floor, just details like that are what people are looking for. So important.
Absolutely. And in the kitchen, it's an extended bar actually. So I'll be able to put, I'm going to stage it and everything for portfolio pictures. And when I bring the buyers in for the finished product, which will probably be next week. But the countertops were nice, but since it was an open floor plan, I had the countertops bumped out at about 7 to 8 inches to be able to create the bar fill for additional seating on the main level.
And I like the counter height bar instead of the higher bar, because that way kids can sit at it and you don't have to worry about Now, quick question for you: would you be willing to show us the stage pictures?
Yes, absolutely.
Later on,
yes.
That would be awesome to see that. I would love to see that. You know, I love looking at houses. That's why sometimes I don't put HGTV on it, because I'll be on it all day long. It's just like I'm fun.
Yes, I will be more than happy to share those images with you once I get the stagers in to stage it. And it's really, I know the buyers are going to absolutely love it. They're so excited. They just had their first baby, and so they're ready.
Oh, that's so nice. Just to tell you, you show a house like a realtor.
Yeah. Well, you know, Felicia, it's going to be in me forever.
It is in you. Like you said, your purpose, that's what you were meant to do, because you definitely showed out like a realtor. But I'm so grateful to have you on my show. I'm so glad.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate to have lots of fun. Learn lots of lessons with this project, but it'll be awesome going forward.
And those lessons, though, are great for you to have for yourself, and you can make sure you know what's right, and then share them with other people. Let people know, look, this is what I learned doing this. And
but I believe I found my niche. I believe I found my niche, and as long as the numbers work, if the areas are wonderful, I'm going to do it.
The one thing I like about what you do, you sound like you plan it out. You're not trying to rush. You're not like trying to force people to hurry up and do this, hurry up and do that. You want to get it, of course, done timely. But, you know, you sound like the type of person that's going to put a lot of thought into a renovation. And that's very important. And that's one of the most important things I try to stress in the book that I wrote. Because a lot of times people don't think about, and I mean, this goes back, when my first design job, I remember people would come into us. I was designing kitchens and baths, and they would come in, and it would be October, and they wanted, back then you couldn't get your cabinets off the shelf. Yeah. Back then you had to wait 6 to 8 weeks for your cabinets to come in, and they would want to get their renovation done by Christmas. And I would try to explain to them, look, 6 to 8 weeks, and then renovation time, you're right up against the holiday. Oh, I lost you. Did I lose you? I think I'm losing you.
Can you see
me? I'm losing you.
Can you see me?
I can see you now.
1 second.
I can see you now.
Okay.
But
you can see me now? Okay.
I can see you. Yeah. I was just going to say I was grateful that that you put that thought into it. You know, the time process, the planning, what's important. You know, knowing your niche, number one, looking for what people need. That's so important with renovations. I want to thank you again.
Thank you,
Lakesha.